Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. And today we got a little mixture of stuff. Not really, it's almost like a mailbag in a way, in a slight way. But I have a couple questions here we're going to talk about. Just some random stuff we haven't been able to talk much about yet this year. But also I wanted to bring up here, Jeff, before we get going, about the Throne League that we're currently in. The Fantasy Football Throne, it's called. It's on Instagram, so go follow us on Instagram.com/fantasyfootballprofit. You'll actually get to help pick our team in this one. So the whole basis is the followers of us get to actually pick our team, which is, it makes it interesting and maybe sometimes not what I would want. So Jeff, I'll go through our team a little bit here real quick. I just want to see how you would have done on these different picks. Pick one, we got DeAndre Swift at pick 11. The options were Swift, Kamara, Nick Chubb at the time. So it's Kamara, Swift, Chubb. Who would you have gone with there?
I'm probably there. I still believe in Chubb. I'd probably go Chubb. Is this a full PPR?
Yes.
It makes it closer, but at the same time, either one of those guys would be great. Kamara, if I didn't worry that there's going to be any games missed because of a suspension or something, I'd probably go him. But other than that, I'd probably go Chubb. I think it's safer.
Yeah. Next up ended up being since we picked Swift, our next option was Kamara versus Chubb, and Kamara got the win. Again, I would have gone if we had gone Swift first, I would have gone Chubb there and had Swift Chubb. I would have really liked that team. Kamara, we got to worry about the suspension.
But if he doesn't get suspended, then we're great. And in a full PPR, both of those guys are going to be worth their weight in gold. So you can't really go wrong with those three. But I probably would have put Chubb in there.
Yep. Next up, we got Michael Pittman. It was Waddle, Metcalf, Pittman, Deontay Johnson. I'm fine with Pittman. I might have gone Deontay, but I go Deontay.
All those guys have question marks about him. We just talked about him in the top 15, but
our picks are pretty close together, so we could have gone Deontay there and then been back up again. And next up, we could have probably then got Pittman on our next pick. Instead, we get Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin beat out Metcalf, and I think it was Metcalf and somebody else in there one. But so we got Terry McLaurin. So our team, I don't know. Yeah, so we got Terry McLaurin at that point. Next up, we got Amon-Ra St. Brown as our wide receiver 3. He beat out, this was a mixture of running backs, receivers. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown, Darnell Mooney, Damian Harris, AJ Dillon. I might have gone Dillon, to be honest here. With the running backs getting thin, I think Dillon's going to get a lot of carries, but I like Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I'll take it as a third. I do have Darnell Mooney ranked higher, but
I like you. Once again, you can't go wrong. The only thing I worry about Amon-Ra, I was a big fan of him last year, but once again, it's all about what else you add to the team. Hawkinson was banged up a lot. You add Williams, who, he won't be in the first half, but the second half. And then you also added DJ Chark, who really wants to prove himself. So even though Amon-Ra was really, really good, like an unsung hero kind of type good, I do think that it might be harder for him to take that next step in his sophomore year. That's the only thing I worry about, but
And then our next pick, we got Damian Harris. He beat out James Cook and Ken Walker.
Once again, I don't necessarily mind that. I think the other ones are a bigger swing. I think Damian Harris will be safe. And as a running back 3, I really like it. You just have to hope that he is the guy there. And I know that you're a big Stevenson guy, so
I'm still hoping to get Stevenson here in this draft.
I do think that's the correct pick, though. I think I like Damian Harris as number 3. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to get Stevenson in this draft at some point. We'll see how that plays out. That's really what I'm hoping for.
I'm just waiting for the one, because obviously the fans pick all these. So I'm just waiting for the one where you only get one option, and that this is just Craig being like, we're picking this one.
And we're actually currently up, and it's going between we're going quarterback, either Brady, Rodgers, Russ, or Stafford. We'll see what they pick for us. Right now, the vote is 33% Brady. My God, 27% Rodgers, 20% Russ, 20% Stafford. So we'll
Really?
see.
Wow.
We'll see how that plays out. Yep.
Who did you pick out of those four? Just out of curiosity. I would go Russ, but
it's Russ or Rodgers for me. It's one of those two, probably Russ. I think he has better weapons currently. So
yeah.
All right. One other question here, keeper question for you, Jeff. I want to see what you would go here.
Yeah.
You can pick 3 keepers, right? You got 3 keepers. 2 of them are no brainers, at least in my mind, I would say. I'm pretty sure they'll be in yours. It's just kind of $200 budget. You can keep Jamar Chase for $18, Justin Jefferson for $13. Right? I mean,
I was gonna say, are those the 2?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
David Montgomery for 18, Leonard Fournette for 10, Cam Akers for 10, or Kyle Pitts for 15. So you get 3. Jefferson for sure, Chase for sure.
Jefferson
right?
And Chase. I mean, those are guaranteed.
So it becomes down to you got Fournette for 10, Akers for 10, Montgomery for 18.
Yeah, I mean, actually this one's not hard for me at all. I would take Fournette.
Fournette for 10, right?
Yeah.
All right, Nick, there you go. That's what you can keep, Nick. That was for Nick.
Your brother, Nick?
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Helping Nick out.
He's been listening to the show, so I wanted to get a question. We talked about this earlier today. I told him Nick. Fournette, and I wanted to make that was right.
Is he? Well, who is he thinking about? Is it because Fournette's getting older? Is that the?
Well, we were talking it through, and he kind of forgot he had Fournette.
I mean, that's fair. Fournette was surprisingly good last year, and he is getting older.
So you know what, Jeff? I'm a little worried. He has a good team, sir.
He does. I was going to say. I was like, really, Chase and
Chase and Jefferson and Fournette.
He's in our league.
Yeah. So it's a pretty good start right there.
That's problematic.
Yeah, that's a good start. And I think he has some money too, which is not good for us.
2 of the top 3 wide receivers. All right.
Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, no kidding.
But, all right. There's my questions. You got anything for us?
Yeah, this one might be a longer one, but I really loved it. So shout out to GatorFan15. They sent us a question the other day when we were talking about auction draft. So this is going to be an auction draft type question. The question goes as follows: trying to run it back in my league that has wonky settings. So first of all, good for you running it back. Awesome that you've had success. The makeup of a team is 2 QBs, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 flex. This is where you can put the tight ends. A little weird. 1 defense, 1 kicker. We don't care about those. 5 bench in an IR spot. So the bench is really short too, which is really interesting. $200 budget. Any advice, please? So that is really, really interesting. So right away, assuming that they don't have too crazy of point systems, right? We're just going to assume they kind of have the regular settings. QB is obviously always a big point getter. And then because you have those flex spots, obviously you can always fill in with wide receivers. How do you handle the QB and running back situation?
This is interesting. So it's nice. Like, I'm not spending more than $1 on defense kicker. Your bench is short, so you don't have to worry about that as much. Quarterback, 2 QB leagues always make quarterbacks more valuable, right?
Right.
But I also think there's like a sweet spot in there somewhere where people spend a lot on quarterbacks because it's a 2 QB league. I haven't done really any 2 QB auctions though, very much. So what I'm doing, that's actually an interesting thing to do. I don't think that's one thing I haven't done much of, but I've done snake drafts, obviously, with quarterbacks with 2 QBs. And what seems to happen is just the people that really value the quarterbacks early and go big for them. And then I still think there's this like level where you can get some good ones for, almost under the radar. I feel like that could happen in auction. I think I'd rather, for me personally, I'd like to go that route, not spend the big money early on some of the guys, but go for, try to get in that. But you also don't want, it's a fine line, right? It's a fine line because you don't want to go too far.
Give me an example. So
I'm still not spending on like the Allen and the Herbert and the Mahomes, because those guys are going to they go for an okay amount in a regular auction. They're going to go for a lot in a 2 QB.
My worry too, and this is coming from Fantasy Pros. So this is 10 team. This is just what the auction they have as auction draft, just to give a baseline to people. But Josh Allen would be $32. Mahomes would be $22, Herbert $19. And then we have 5 more guys that would be in double digits, right? Obviously these are just the starting. They probably would be inflated in this. Hurts would be 15, Lamar would be 15, Kyler Murray 13, Tom Brady 13, and Dak would be 11. And then everyone goes down to single digits. My worry here is because of that thinking, which I'm sure everyone will have, and everyone needs two. So QB goes quick then. Will the top end guys that you're kind of like, I don't want to spend 22 for Patrick Mahomes. If he goes early, is everyone going to be thinking that? And can you get a deal on him? Because after that, like, oh, Kyler is going, and now he's going to go for 22 as well because everyone's freaking out.
Yeah, they're going to go for a lot. I don't think I still want those guys, but I want to get guys before, like, there's a number where it runs out. I want to go after the guys when they're still like it's kind of like the ones that are in the throne right now that we have up. It's the Wilsons, the Stafford, Rodgers, Brady. I want to go for the guys like when there's enough of them left. Because if you're going to go for them and it's just like Rodgers left or just Stafford left, that last guy of like the top 12 is going to go for too much. I think there's a good top 12 right now at quarterback. Right now in consensus ranks, Rodgers is that 12th. So I think it's going to, but I only want one of these guys, to be honest. Because my next guy, I think in a 2 QB, like to save some money and be able to go for these running backs is going to be Derek Carr. I would like Derek Carr as like my second quarterback.
Right. And right now he would be worth $2 and he would be the 15th ranked.
Yeah. See, I want to go for Derek Carr.
See, I don't think these numbers hold up for QB.
No, they don't.
Right? I think they're way off.
They go up.
And I'm just giving them a baseline. This would be,
they go much higher. They definitely go a lot higher, but I think I'm going to try to go for like a Derek Carr as my 2, but I want like one of like that Brady, Russ, Stafford, Rodgers, Dak level, that 8 through 12. I want one of those guys. I don't really want the top 7, which is Allen, Herbert, Mahomes, Jackson, Kyler, Jalen, Hurts, Burrow. I don't want that top 7. I want one guy 8 for 12. It's just going to get you a little bit of money. It's going to cost you a little bit, but don't get the last of those because that's going to go higher. And then I would go for like a Derek Carr if I could. And if for some reason I can't, you kind of do want it. You got to do it like a Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. Like I want one of those kind of guys.
Yeah.
I'd feel more comfortable. And then one more guy. I don't really care who it is, to be honest. After that, I honestly don't.
In a 2 QB league like this, and you only have 5 bench spots, would you think about rostering a third QB or no?
I think you have to, because it's not super flex, because it's not super flex. So you have to start 2 quarterbacks every week. So I think you absolutely need to, because all of a sudden, because if it was super flex, you would think differently because you could just throw a different position in there. Worst case. Right. So look, one thing, I don't look at bye weeks that often, but in this situation, you definitely need to, which is good. Cause like Derek Carr has a different bye week from all those guys I mentioned, those top 5. Kirk Cousins is the same bye week as Stafford. Other than that, he's different from everybody else. But I would go for that. And then I'd go for like a Carson Wentz, who's further down. Right now he's like 26.
That was who I was gonna,
or even Goff. I'd go for a Jared Goff, like for my third.
Jared Goff would not be, but Jameis Winston is pretty low in this for whatever reason. He's lower than I think he should be. How do you feel about some young guns that have not proven themselves? Justin Fields, Zach Wilson as like a third QB. Do you stay away from them?
I think Justin Fields goes for too much, probably yet. I really do, but like Zach will. I think I'd want to stick to like a Wentz or Goff, honestly, as my third. Or you know what? Daniel Jones, I'm not done with him. I think he has a lot of players around him. New coach. He
does have a lot of players when they're healthy.
He needs to prove it this year, right? I don't think he needs, if he wants any kind of contract, this is the year to do it.
Okay.
Honestly, right in the consensus ranks, that's 25th, 26th, 27th. That's my third guy. It's one of those guys.
So that's interesting. So you don't want to blow
I don't want to, because what I'm going to do is I want to get some good running back. I want to get a couple good running backs, but I think you're using those flex spots. What did he say? PPR, anything like that?
No.
Okay. But either way, I think I want to, those flex spots for me are going to be wide receivers. Most likely. It's just so much deeper.
Yeah. And you'll be able to get some at the end of the draft for nothing.
Yeah. And I think I'm just going to completely punt on tight end. I'm not even going to worry about a tight end unless a great deal comes around. Like it would have to be a super deal.
That's got to be the weirdest one, because you probably the top 5 are probably the guys that I would actually be looking at, because they could put up numbers that would be.
It's interesting. Yeah. Like, does it change? Does their value lower? Kelsey's won't, and a couple of these guys
got to lower them quite a bit.
Where's it lower? Like, where's that happen? Where they just become $1 guys, right? At some point, it just happens. I don't know where that is. Is it after the top 4,
I'm guessing after the top 5. I'm guessing Pitts would still
Waller.
go for stuff. I'm guessing that like Schultz, Goddard, even Hawkinson's an interesting one. He might go for $1 or $2.
I would
assume.
I wouldn't be against getting one of those guys for like $1, but I'm not going to go more than that at tight end when you don't absolutely need it. And so I'm going to be stocking up.
How much would you pay for Kelsey? I mean, I guess it would be all relative. Would he?
I think he's still going to go for a decent amount.
Would he be considered a top 20 wide receiver in your mind?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. I guess you look at it. I'd have to do some more research on that to figure out where he would. You have to figure out where he lines up as a wide receiver.
I mean, that's
which I haven't looked exactly, but you got to figure that out and see where that price is, because maybe it depends. Every league's different. He could be a great value. One of those tight ends at the top could actually be a really good value, but we'll see. You have to look at it, but it's different too, because in auction right now they go higher because they're the best at their position by far. When you put them into a wide receiver lineup, they're not, maybe, they could be going for too much if people still value them at their current price.
Oh yeah.
It could go either way,
So in a regular league, when you have to get a tight end,
they
Travis
go higher.
Kelce's value would be, say, and this, once again, this is a 1 QB league, but $39 value.
Yeah. See,
that would put him as tied for the second wide receiver. With Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, both
like those top tight ends are actually probably going to go too much if people aren't thinking and are going to value them like that. So I would stick to these wide receivers. You're going to get like one of Jeff's guys, Marquise Brown, who's a little further down. You could get your flex spots could really be filled out with some good receivers that are lower down in the ranks. Like, Marquise Brown maybe could be a third, which
there's a lot of good
Monroe St. Brown, right?
Yeah.
Juju, who's down there, Adam Thielen's down there. There's a lot of guys down there that you could find, Allen Robinson's 26. I would go receivers. There's so many of them, and running back dies off for me this year. So it does like every year, but
yeah. And there's still a lot of value too, because because you're going to have to find value at the wide receiver position, and you want someone that's going to be really cheap so you can put your money somewhere else. Don't sleep on people, and you don't have a big bench that blows too. So you can't grab guys that are going to be hurt, right? So like a Chris Godwin or who else was, or like Jameson Williams, like those guys aren't going to be on anyone's teams to begin with. You would think Godwin would be a real hard one to like stomach that loss right away, but someone really far down there, like Christian Watson at 62, I think would be an unbelievable value. I think that where is he? How far down? Kadarius Toney at 51. I'm very intrigued with.
So with the short bench, though, I don't want to go too many. You don't want to go too many lottery tickets with only a 5-person bench.
Jarvis Landry at 64. I think he's relatively safe too. I think he would be a really good one because you can put him in and play.
Yeah. I'll say only a 5-person bench. Lottery tickets you don't want to go too crazy with lottery tickets.
I mean, that's a good point.
I love our league when we have our 8-person bench, because I can just get, go for a few guys.
I will say this. I don't think Christian Watson is necessarily, I think he's way too underrated. I don't think he's necessarily a lottery pick because he's automatically going to be in that top 3 wide receivers. Kadarius Toney, who couldn't stay healthy last year and is on a team that, is getting Galladay and back and all that. We don't exactly know what his production will be. He's a little more of that. I still like Christian Watson there, but yeah. And how high of a pick would you actually go with running back? That's a really interesting team. Like we could probably talk for hours on this one, just trying to figure out prices. But for this one, like if you get Jonathan Taylor, you're going to blow half your budget. And that is going to be incredibly difficult to get 2 QBs, him, and then be able to do anything else. How far down the list do you go before you grab your first guy, you think? Like we start going like him, like Austin Eckler, Derrick Henry, Jonathan Taylor, all going to be going over.
To be honest, I don't want to wait too long because, again, I don't think you want at least one sure thing. But nothing's a sure thing, but you want one that you feel comfortable with. But I guess I'd be comfortable enough with Nick Chubb as my number 1. And that's where I keep going to in these drafts.
And Nick Chubb would be like the consensus 8 on this Just Fantasy Pros. That would make sense to me as well, because I think he's relatively safe. I think people will be scared off because he doesn't catch the ball, because we don't know what's going to happen with Deshaun Watson. I still think he's going to put up numbers and he'll be a really solid player.
I'm telling you, like Nick Chubb, Saquon Barkley, like I love that. I love that duo this year. It's I love that duo. I love getting that duo every time. So maybe you go throw Sammy Watkins on your bench. You're not, Jeff. We're going to come around.
No, we're not.
Yes,
don't do that.
It's going to be a thing. I'm going to make it a thing.
It's not currently ranked.
He's currently 108th. 100.
There's a reason why. You know what? Like, there's a reason.
No, I'm. You know what? I'm a Sammy Watkins fan.
Is that
again.
why?
Here we go.
Why you think Christian Watson is a lottery pick?
Maybe. Sammy Watkins. I like his quote recently. He says, "I told the coaches my back is against the wall." He knows it. He knows he has to come out and do this. My career hasn't been
3 years too late with that quote.
He said, "My career hasn't been what I projected it to be, and it's a great opportunity for me to come here."
He's right on all that.
Catch a ton of balls, compete at the highest level, and win games.
He's 100% correct when he says all that. I don't believe that second part at all.
And he says, and fight to stay healthy. That's been the knock on my career, to stay on the field. He knows it. He knows it.
Yeah, but you can't do much about that. I mean, I feel bad for him.
That's true. He says he was worried. He was worried last year after hamstring and knee injuries. But you know what? He said also, this is probably the best situation I've been in my career.
Also very true.
He's also not guaranteed a spot on the 53-man roster.
I wish he was 5 years younger and healthier.
He's 29 now.
Oh my God!
He's an old man, Jeff, at 29. He's an old man at 29.
Forever. I mean, it sucks when you, and this is not any disrespect on him. He peaked, and he also did in Buffalo before they were good. But I mean, it sucks when the first couple of years are your best, and then after that, health and all that just completely leave you.
Aaron Rodgers says
could have been
there's
so much
definitely going to be opportunities for Sammy Watkins in the Packers offense.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers is like, please God,
I think
anyone establish themselves.
Rodgers says, I think he has everything right in front of him to have as productive a year as he wants to.
He's going to say that about every single wide receiver, and he is absolutely correct.
Well, 108th. I mean, that's a little low. Maybe like
aggressively
80th.
low.
Let's have him 80th or 80th, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sure.
One last time. Here we go. It's like 80. It's one last go around with Sammy for me. One last go around. Let's do this one more time.
Do not grab him if you only have 5 bench spots.
No, I guess not.
Not the time.
You have to have 8. You have to have 8 and be in a 12-team league.
Are there any guys, knowing that with the 5 bench spots and you probably won't have a lot of money after you grab your top 3-4 guys? Who are the guys you'd be thinking about grabbing low that you think would be cheap, that you think will produce and can produce right away?
So a guy I think you could get cheaper that I just actually feel pretty comfortable with, that everyone's underrating, is Melvin Gordon. The more I look at it, I think Melvin Gordon's vastly underrated. And I think in any kind of auction setting, Melvin Gordon is not going for much money. There's no hype on Melvin Gordon. Right now, he's 35th in consensus ranks, which is, again, this guy had the exact same season Javonte Williams had last year. Exactly the same. And he's 22 spots lower than him. I think you're going to get him for relatively cheap. And you'll get some production. There's so many question marks right now, though. There's so many question marks all over the place. Wide receiver wise, if you're looking a little further down, I mean, Chase Claypool is a good value. He's ranked 45th, so you're going to get him for a decent price. And again, there's no juju there. He should get some target. And you know what? Nah, I don't want to go too far. I don't want to take too many chances. I'll say Kenny Galladay is a good value. That's way too low. They don't feel comfortable. Rashad Bateman, I think, he should be okay. I don't know if there's going to be enough passing with Baltimore to make it. I like Bateman. I like his opportunity, but then Mark Andrews is there, and I just don't think the Ravens are going to throw the ball enough. But I don't know.
I mean, you do have your boy Crowder. He's all way down at 78.
Yeah. See, with only 5-man bench, I don't think he even sniffs the roster. So
yeah, it's a tough one. And to be quite honest too, there's a lot more opportunity in the wide receiver. Like as soon as you jump over to running back, when you have to play 2 and you have this whole situation, those are going to be the guys you're going to have to spend some money on. And so you don't want to go too low because you're still going to
say the worst I'd want is like I said, Chubb, Barkley, Connor.
Yeah.
I don't want to go too low.
Looking at as like a third, because you're going to have to get a third to make sure. How far down can you go? Is there anyone like,
Damian Harris? I think Damian Harris is relatively underrated. I mean, I like Stevenson, right? But I think it's turned around where Harris has just become underrated. And this guy is solid. Like he really was solid. And Stevenson, again, though, here's what the nice thing is. Again, 5-man bench makes this harder. But in other leagues, like if you get Harris, you can get Harris and Stevenson almost no problem, right? And I'm really starting to like that because I like both players. It's just let's see, Harris was now down to 27th. I think I had a list here. I was going to see if I could
see. That's the crazy part, though. I mean, that's even not. Yeah, he's 24th on this. That is not going to be far enough down to like get him cheap. No, I mean that guy's going to go for a premium still. That is the wild part in that league.
Random thing with
Damian Harris. I think Tony Pollard being at 32 is a really interesting one. I like him.
He is,
because everyone's going to be like, Zeke is still there. I don't think he's going to get gouged too badly. And I think that he'll be able to play him even with that. And I do like, and once again, this is like talking about getting some depth, but I'm not, you have people like right in a row, like Ken Walker, who, it's a tough one to know. I like the fact, I think that he will play, but right now that team is a little bit weird. But Michael Carter, because they got Breece Hall, everyone was kind of completely ditching him, but I'm not completely off of that bandwagon yet.
Right.
I think that might be an interesting one later on if you're trying to get a depth and you get in trouble.
All right, here I got a listener question that came in from DJR. I think we've actually answered it on Instagram, but I want to throw it out here again, see if we've changed our mind. I think I have a little more clarity on what I want to do. So DJR, he can keep 2 keepers. He doesn't say anything about cost, so I think just you get to keep 2 players, right? At no cost. It's Christian McCaffrey, Alvin Kamara, Javonte Williams, Elijah Mitchell, DK Metcalf, Deebo Samuel, Josh Allen. He had a pretty good squad last year with some of these guys, but we were short of. Who are you keeping? 2 players, no cost. He says he's always kept CMC, but he doesn't know anymore. I think you go keep McCaffrey again. If you get. We're not done yet, right? Obviously, you keep McCaffrey. It's without a doubt.
Yeah, I think you have to.
Then it becomes interesting because it's Kamara, it's Javonte Williams, it's Elijah Mitchell. I think you can throw Elijah Mitchell out of this one, right?
Yeah,
we're not keeping him.
I think
Josh Allen's interesting, but I'm not. I don't want to keep quarterbacks. Not when you have this much talent.
For me, it's
DK Metcalf,
4 guys.
Well, I say DK Metcalf.
No, he's not. He's not
too many quarterback issues, right? So then it's Kamara, Javonte, and Deebo.
Yeah.
Kamara, just the legal stuff, right? Part of it's legal, but you want to look long term, right? If it's a keeper, but then again, he's still older than these guys. So
yeah, he is. And
again, they're uncertain with just their quarterback situation.
I mean, they have Jameis. I don't think I'm not too worried about that aspect. But even if he misses 4 games.
But Deebo, I guess, has uncertain quarterback situation.
No, he definitely does. Oh, you're talking about all of them. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Without a doubt.
Javonte really doesn't with Russ, but
Javonte is, and that would be the argument here. I would keep CMC because I think that he's a league winner if he stays healthy, right? You can't say that about anyone else, really. Deebo, I think that he's going to be taking a huge step back. I don't like the fact that it's going to be Trey Lance, but he is incredibly talented. You're going to get he's still going to be a top 10 ranked wide receiver. And if everyone gets to keep all of those, you're not going to get that opportunity. Like you're going to really take it on the chin with wide receiver. But Javonte is the wild card. I would go CMC and I would either go Deebo or Javonte. And Javonte, you might be able to keep for years to come. We don't know that. We've seen running backs come and go very, very quickly. This year, I don't think Melvin Gordon is completely falling off. So I don't think that he is going to, he's not the league winner, but I think he'll be very good. So that becomes, who would you rather have, Deebo or of Javonte? Are you on the same page so far, or is it?
Yeah, I think.
Who would you take in that situation?
I think I go Deebo.
Okay, my original pick was CMC and Deebo. And I cry a little bit if Javonte blows up, but
yeah, he hasn't yet though. He hasn't done it yet. Deebo's done it. That's where I'm at, right? Yeah. Deebo's done it.
And you would have a top wide receiver, a top running back, and then you can kind of make it up in the draft. Running back, but
I still think wide receivers have more longevity than running backs, but Deebo is like a running back, so it kind of like could hurt that, but I still think he will have more because he can always transition away from running the ball as much. Into more of a pass catcher at some point, or
they don't give him a contract and he leaves in a year, and then he goes to a place that's going to use him.
It's a tough one, but it's a good situation to have. So I think I go CMC and Deebo.
I think I would do the same.
Yep. So all right, DJR. Hopefully that's what you'll go with. But All right, that's about all I got. Just some randomness today, but I don't know if you got anything else. That's it, Jeff. And
that's fun.
Let's take a quick look. League. Yeah, real quick look here before we get off of what the vote is looking like. All right, we currently have hundreds of votes in.
I'm rooting for Russ. So
Russell Wilson is in the lead, actually pulling away.
Yeah.
So he has 94 votes. Stafford and Brady both have 67 votes, and Aaron Rodgers has 48 votes.
All right, Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
It's Aaron Rodgers being disrespected, Jeff.
Every year, man.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
End up with him.
I can't wait till I win a fantasy title this year with Aaron Rodgers and Sammy Watkins.
I mean, I would feel really good for Sammy. I hope he does it, but I'm going with my man Christian Watson. I think he's going to be the rookie phenom. But anyone that can catch a back shoulder pass is going to be great in that offense.
True. But all right. That will do it for today. We'll talk to you guys next week.